So technology is clearly changing
Yes.
and changing the way we deliver, the way we think about learning.
For sure.
How do you see it impacting learning now and in the years to come?
Maybe I have been saying this for 20 years and it's been sounding pretty hollow, but I think we're on the cusp. I think there is a massive shift in technology, and how would I summarize that very, very succinctly? The first thing is artificial intelligence. I think the idea of software knowing you and knowing what you need and knowing where your problems are and knowing when you're stuttering or knowing when you're being inefficient is going to be massive, absolutely massive. So you'll have intelligent helpers that will be your learning coaches, if you like. That's going to come. It's already around in more ways than we even care to reflect upon. So AI, I'm a great believer that virtual reality will change things too, that this is the year of VR, and some of the programs that I've seen, even using cheap stuff like Google Cardboard, they're alone the big Oculus Rift type of components, but the fact that you can make people experience the world as if, but in a safe environment, it's almost like a dead ringer for learning and development. And you can think of 1,000 ways in which you can put people in hazardous environments that you can't put them in normally, and bring health and safety alive, make people experience what an office fire or a factory fire is like, and really get the kind of visceral emotional reaction. Help people understand a leadership role when they're dealing with someone who's upset or distressed, where you can feel the emotion in the room and the tension in the room. Put people in difficult, stressful situations and help them cope with it in the real world. All of that stuff, I think, is definitely on its way. And coupled with that is the increasing, I call it appification of the world, not huge big chunks of software that will solve all your problems, but little pieces of software that will all link together. So you'll be able to build your own software universe, your own IT universe, based on things that just connect together. And therefore I worry about the future of big LMSs. I think that the LMS that's cloud-based, that is flexible, that will accept bolt-ons from other pieces of software, has a much better future than something that is not cloud-based, that is totally self-contained, that is mega and very expensive. So technology is going to change everything.
Of course. With regard to augmented and virtual reality, it was certainly one of the themes at our conference this year. A lot of people were quite interested in it, but most saw it as the domain of the big end of town, the big companies that can throw a lot of money at. Are you seeing smaller providers doing things on a shoestring?
Yes, this is the age of smaller providers. That you can buy a 3D camera for a few $100s. For example. So I saw a really good piece of virtual reality by Shell. Now Shell is big end of town, but they spent less than $20,000 on developing a virtual reality mixed-use energy environment aimed at teaching, primarily aimed at schools, but teaching people how different energy technologies can work together, and that you therefore don't say we don't have any oil or any old energy production, but we couple it with new energy production. We build a new energy ecology. And that was incredibly effective, because you could walk in this environment, you could explore it in a way that you just can't do from books or lectures or any other format. And as I say, it was very cheap. And schools are getting into it, and schools are always bottom end, they're not the big end of town. So yes, there will be high-powered, expensive applications. I'm sure the US military is spending millions of dollars at this very moment developing stuff. But I think there are enough entry-level software programs, software platforms, that Unity platform, for example, is not high entry point. And there'll be all these clever software companies with 5 people who will be building great stuff, and they will race ahead. So I watch it. I do not think it's just for the big end of town.
Excellent.